Доброго дня. Розпочинаємо засідання. Let's start our official meeting. But colleagues, at first I would like to welcome and to congratulate our female judges with the International Day of Female Judges. So I would like to congratulate our colleagues, women who are judges on this professional date, and would like to wish you further professional achievements. And to all of us, I would like to wish that this day would lose its topicality with every year. So in a couple of years, we would stop saying that we need to have a separate attention paid to the fact that we need to ensure rights of female judges. I think that we are going towards that, and now we demonstrate that, and especially the PCAE demonstrate the total equality in the rights of men and women. Okay, then, let's start our special joint meeting. Representatives of the PCAE members, Robert Heinbrook Heisen, Chair of PCAE, Norman Ast remotely, Mary Kay Butler remotely, Gabriela Yotkaita-Gravkiena, John J. O'Sullivan, and Jessica Lantopsa. Members of the HQCJ of Ukraine, Mikhailo Boganis, Людмила Volkova, Vitaly Gatsiluk, Vitaly Gatsiluk is at the meeting now, Yaroslav Dukh, Roman Kadasuk, Nadia Kobetska, Oleg Polyosh, Igor Kushnir, Ruslan Melnik, Alexei Omelyan, Andriy Pasichnik, Roman Sabodash, Ruslan Sidorovich, Serhiy Chemak will join us. Halina Shevchuk, I'm the presiding member, Chair Andriy Pasichnik. We have Secretary Natalia Vlasnikova present in the meeting as well. With respect to the items on our agenda on compliance of candidates for the position of judges of the High Anti-Corruption Court with the criteria set out by Article 8 of the Law of Ukraine on the High Anti-Corruption Court, and preliminarily the order of the conduct of interviews was published as follows. Kolesnik, Pevna, Zavhorodniy, Prokhorov, but due to the fact that the rapporteur Vitaly Gatsiluk, with respect to the first candidate, Kolesnik Snezhana, is absent now. As I've mentioned, he is in an official meeting. I have a suggestion to change the order a bit. Moreover, we have online connection with candidate Zavhorodniy Oleksandr Serhiyovych. He is serving in the armed forces of Ukraine. So accordingly, that's why he's taking part online in this meeting. So I have a suggestion to change the order and to have the first interview with Zavhorodniy Oleksandr Serhiyovych, then with Pevna Olga, then with Prokhorov Alexander, and then the fourth candidate will be Kolesnik Snezhana, if there are no objections. No? Then please vote who is in favor of this agenda and for this order of interviews. Unanimously? Thank you. The agenda has been adopted. So let's move on to the consideration of Zavhorodniy Oleksandr Serhiyovych. He is online with us. Alexander, can you hear us? Can you see us? We cannot hear you. Maybe you have muted yourself. Yes, I can hear and I can see you well. Okay, then we can see and hear you as well. Thank you. So the rapporteur regarding this candidate is Dukh Yaroslav, please. Mr. Alexander, good morning. At first, I will briefly present you, and if you have any additions after that, please add that information. So I will start with the presentation of your candidacy. Zavhorodniy Oleksandr Serhiyovych submitted an application to the Commission in August of 2025 for participation in the petition for the position of the judge of the High Anti-Corruption Court. With the decision of the HQCJ dated September 16 of 2025, Alexander Zavhorodniy was admitted to the qualification evaluation and participation in the competition. With the decision of the HQCJ dated February 4 of 2026, general results of the first stage were approved. Percent result of the qualification exam, the candidate got 327.1 points and was admitted to the second stage, that is dossier examination and interview conduct. Alexander Zavhorodniy graduated from the University of Internal Affairs in 2000, and he got the diploma of the specialist and the specialty of legal sciences. In 2003, the candidate graduated from the National Law Academy of Yaroslavl Mudry and got a master's diploma and obtained the qualification of the lawyer. He doesn't have the academic degree or academic title. The candidate got the attorney's license in July of 2007 based on the decision of the Donetsk Regional Qualification and Disciplinary Commission of the Bar. Professional activity of the candidate. From January to July of 2000, he was the leading special of law firm Zakon. From July of 2000 until February of 2001, he was the lawyer of private enterprise law firm Legal Consulting. From April of 2001 to August of 2002, he was the lawyer of enterprise Poseidon. From September of 2002 to July of 2003, he was the listener of the Faculty of Professional Judges Training of National Law Academy of Yaroslavl Mudry. From July of 2003 to 2007, he was the lawyer of LLC Justice Firm. From November of 2019 until October of 2019, he was the legal counselor of Fido Bank. From July of 2007 until March of 2025, he was the attorney and the managing partner of law firm Zavhorodniy Oleksandr Advokator. The candidate is taking part, apart from this competition, in the competition for local judges, and he is also the candidate for the position of the judge of the Specialized Administrative Court or Specialized Administrative Court of Appeal. Mr. Alexander, would you like to add anything? No, you've mentioned everything, no additions. Mr. Chair, over to you. Thank you. Mr. Robert, over to you now.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I pass the floor to John O'Sullivan, sitting next to me, who is the rapporteur.
Thank you. Good morning, Alexandra. I'm going to call you by your first name, if that's okay. My name is John O'Sullivan. I'm on the PCIE. I'm a retired federal judge from the United States, as well as a former prosecutor. I want to ask you some questions today about your background and your finances. But before we get started, I note that you're presently in the armed forces, and thank you for your service. And I see that prior to that, you were a private lawyer. Can you tell me what about your experiences in life would prepare you to be a hack judge?
Можна відповідати, да?
Can I answer? Yes.
Yes.
Я так розумію, ви питаєте...
As I understand, you're asking about
моєї компетенції...
my competency for fulfilling this position, right?
Yes.
Ну, дивіться, у мене є стаж роботи адвоката.
I have professional experience of being the attorney for about 26 years. I was drafting lots of legal documents. I was communicating while representing interests of my clients in courts. I got acquainted with the documents prepared by judges. So, I mean, how they work. Wait, please wait a second. Please wait a second. We have a bit technical problem. Please wait a second. Now we will resolve the technical problem, and I will tell you when we can continue.
No, less on this one. Yeah, that's you can't hear the translation. You made that less volume? Yep. Okay, sir, you can continue.
Тобто маю стаж
So
роботи
I have professional experience of being attorney. I have practical experience. I worked under this category of cases together with my clients. While working with my clients, I communicated to judges on professional matters. Moreover, I prepared different documents. I mean, while performing my practical assignment, while preparing documents for the defense of my clients and while representing them in court. So I believe that I have necessary experience in order to be able to perform this function. That's my answer to your question.
Thank you. Several weeks ago, we sent you a series of questions, about 12 questions, and we never received responses. Can you explain why you haven't responded to the questions sent to you?
Зачекайте, будь ласка, у нас все ще тривають.
Please wait a second. We still have a technical problem, so I'm announcing a technical break now.
Okay, so we're back on the recording. I think my last question to you was why you did not respond to the 12 questions that we sent you several weeks ago.
Дивіться,
Look,
у мене були об'єктивні
I had objective reasons why I didn't do that, because I was conscripted and I'm serving in the armed forces of Ukraine. I just didn't have an opportunity, how to properly word that. I did not have any chance to check my email to use mobile connection, so I just didn't see those questions back then. And I could not respond in writing. But if possible, if you let me, I will answer orally to your questions.
Okay, have you seen the questions now?
Да, я бачу це
Yes,
питання.
yes, I saw those questions now.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you some of those questions if you'd listen to my questions. So for the period of 2016 and 2024, in your declaration, you indicated that your place of residence is Dnipro. However, in the real estate portion, of the property declarations, there is no reflection of real estate in the city of Dnipro. Can you explain that?
Так, звичайно,
Yes,
дякую.
of course. Thank you for the question. We lived in the city of Dnipro at the relatives of my mother-in-law, together with my mother-in-law, with my wife and children. So we did not rent that housing. We did not prepare any legal documents. It was just like the condition of being guests, because those were her relatives, and that's why we live there. And they continue living there as well. There is no additional rent or housing there. And that's why when I was filling in the declaration, I did not declare that, because we do not have rent, right? So we were in the condition of being guests.
And what is the city of your actual place of residence? And when did you move there?
Адреса це
The
місто
address
Дніпро.
is the city of Dnipro, Набережна Перемоги Street, 100 to 166. When we moved in there, that was the start of 2015.
Okay. So since in the documents you submitted for the competition, you indicated that since 2000, you've continuously been working as a lawyer for a period of time with the LLC law firm Justice, and also an individual legal practice. At the same time, you had no official income between 2014 and 2017, as well as 2020 to 2021. Did you receive income from the law firm Justice during the period 2014 to 2017?
Дивіться, з фірми
Look,
юстиція.
from a justice firm, I did not have income, even though I performing some works for them. But it happened that some debts remained, but there were some problems with the director, and I decided to take away my employment record book. They gave it to me back, and that was the end. With respect to income, that income that is declared in my declaration, I mean, in the information of the tax inspection service, it's accurate information. And during that period of time, I did not have income because we moved from Donetsk, and I started looking for a job. I started looking for the sort of income, for employment, and for new acquaintances since at the very beginning. So I was having to do all of that from scratch. That's my answer.
So when did you stop working for the law firm Justice, which was located in Donetsk?
Я не пам'ятаю точно
I
дату,
do not recall the specific date, but that's the date that's mentioned in the application and in my employment record book.
Did you continue working there in 2014 and 15?
Дивіться,
Look,
я продовжував з ними.
I continued cooperating with them. I worked there. They gave me some tasks. They paid some small salary to me, but then problems with payments started. They were covering that to some extent, but that situation was worsening. And then I do not remember the specific period, but I decided to end that because it was difficult to find a job at a new place and to directly somehow I tried at first to start from scratch, because just to come to a new city and to do something, that was very difficult to do. I tried cooperating with the free legal aid system, but in order to work with them, it was not necessary. It was necessary to take part in the selection that was organized after exams. That selection was not appointed, and I had to wait. When it was appointed, then I started working with a free legal aid center.
And what about for the time period 2020 to 2021, when you also had no official income. Were you working then?
Так, працював на
Yes, I was working then at the same firm, and they were paying, and they were supposed to reflect these payments in the tax service.
What firm was that?
Це, якщо я не помиляюсь,
If I'm not mistaken, that was legal consulting.
And how much did you earn in those years?
Я не пам'ятаю, я не
I
можу
do not
сказати.
remember. I cannot tell you that. I just do not have these documents, but that's accurate information. I mean, information provided by the tax inspection service. That was a small salary. That was either minimal or a bit higher than minimal, which existed back then. I cannot recall that specific amounts, but these amounts were not significant.
Well, the official records indicate that you didn't receive any income during that period. How did you support your wife and your children at that time?
Ну, дивіться, у мене працювала дружина.
Look, my wife was employed. She was working during that period of time, and she supported the children, and I received the payments from the legal consulting firm, and there was the record in the working experience records confirming that.
And what was your wife's employment, and how much money did she earn a year?
Я не пам'ятаю тих сум.
I do not remember the exact sums, but she had quite a good salary. She was working, and she is still working as a medical representative. The firm is located in Kyiv, and back then she was partially working in Donetsk region, then Zaporizhia region, and Dnipropetrovsk region, and she still works in that capacity. Back then it was 15,000-20,000 hryvnias a month, and the exchange rate was at that time $8 or $10 to hryvnia.
In your property declaration for 2024, you indicated that you received income in the amount of 697,000 hryvnias from the Law Bureau of basically under your name. Was this amount of your income in the form of wages?
Ні, я зазначив там,
No, I indicated that I have an attorney's bureau, and I was providing free legal aid, but not only. And I indicated that income because I was the only owner and the only managing director, and it was not the salary, it was the income of the profit of that firm.
And does your law bureau, did they have employees in 2024?
Ні, воно не мало найманих працівників.
No, there were no employed workers. I worked on my own, and to employ new workers, as you understand, the military actions started, and it was unclear what would be next, and I was not looking for workers, and I was performing all the functions on my own, and it was enough for me.
And did you rent office space for the law bureau?
Дивіться, я не орендував ніякого.
Look, I didn't rent office space for the bureau. I will explain the specifics of its functions. Of course, The essence of the work was me going to police bodies or the State Bureau of Investigation, and I would spend my time there during certain investigative measures conducted by the policeman, the State Bureau of Investigation, or other authorities. So I would spend time with my clients. Also, there were some activities happening in prisons and temporary detention centers. Also, there were activities that happened in courts. So I wasn't renting any office spaces because I wouldn't use them, and I wouldn't have time to go there.
I'd like to talk to you about two cases that were brought to administrative responsibility for driving while intoxicated. They both occurred in May of 2022, May 14th and May 15th. And they involved a person with your name driving a vehicle that you've identified. Was that you who was charged with the driving under intoxication on those two occasions?
No, it was not me. I never committed such acts, and I never drive intoxicated, not a proponent of it. I looked at that case. It was about a different person, and I will explain why. There are some references to a vehicle sense or learners, and I sold it back in 2013, and I provided a power of attorney for someone to re-register the car, and that person took the car, but it was not re-registered because the hostility started. We talked with that person later when he wanted to change the registration, but he didn't come to do that. So actually, de facto, I am the owner of that vehicle, even though it was sold back in 2013. There was a certain neglect of the new owner as to his failure to register the vehicle at his name. And if we look at that case, I am sure that it's a different person who was brought to administrative liability. And the driving license I received in 1999, I still have it. I was not stripped of it, so I was not brought to administrative liability.
So our indicates that somebody with your name was driving that car in charge. You're saying that if it indicates you were the driver of that car, that's a mistake?
I do not know. There are some coincidences of last name and first name. It may happen that people have the same last name, but these may be different people. And it's something which occurs, but the events, I was not involved in them in any way.
Well, the person that you sold the die to, what was that person's name?
Well, I do not recall it right now. I should look on the documents, but I cannot provide them right now. It was a man, but I do not remember the name. I cannot give it to you right now. It was not the same person which was charged with administrative offense. I'm sure that this person stayed in the occupied territory and didn't leave, and because of it, he didn't change the registration. That's my assumption. If he left the occupied territory, he would have certain issues with the use of this vehicle. But if there were no fines, nothing happened, it indicates that this person didn't leave the occupied territory.
Okay, I'd like to ask you about a piece of property that you and your wife own, which was in your declaration, indicating that since January 22nd, 2014, you and your wife own an apartment with an area of 67 square meters in Donetsk, worth 146,000 hryvnias. Did you and your wife purchase that apartment, and where did you get the funds to purchase the apartment?
Так, ми з дружиною придбали.
Yes, me and my wife bought the apartment in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. The funds
Це кошти моїх батьків,
were the funds of my parents, my wife's parents, her personal funds, and a bit of my funds, but we cannot use that property. We haven't been able to since 2014 because the territory is occupied, and it's unclear what happened to that property and whether it was appropriated, acquired by someone else. I cannot tell you that because to clarify it, I should be there, but I still should indicate this in my declaration because officially we are the owners. No programs to get a compensation or to buy something different. There are no programs like that, and so the current state of affairs is like this.
Your wife also owns a residential building and a plot of land in the village of Staropetrovsky in Donetsk, which you've indicated a worth of 15,000 hryvnias for the building and 1,000 hryvnias for the land plot. How did you determine that the value of that real estate?
Дивіться, це сама ділянка і сама
Look, the land plot and the building are located in a village, and it's approximately 70-80 kilometers from the city, and it's an ordinary Ukrainian village. It's not full of elite houses, nothing like that. It's the ordinary building which consists of 2 rooms, and there is only electricity, and if I'm not mistaken, natural gas supply. No water supply. The value was established according to the data of from the Inspectorate on Construction Norms, and the items are not expensive. Why she bought them? My mother-in-law likes gardening and planting, and she liked spending her time like that. So she would go there to plant stuff, and we would come there with children as well. There is river nearby, so I would like to indicate once again that there are no elite buildings there. These are just ordinary village houses, nothing expensive, nothing extraordinary. That's why the value was established like that. It was not too low. It's a real value, but currently it's also an occupied territory. It's impossible to use those premises, but I have to indicate it in the declaration because it still exists.
According to your 2016 property declaration, as of September 2013, you owned a 2005 Toyota Corolla worth 80,000 hryvnias. Your total income for the period of 2000 to 2013 was 98,000 hryvnias. How were you able to purchase that car, and where did you get the funds from?
Я поясню.
I will explain. The Toyota Corolla vehicle was bought for 80,000 hryvnias. When we talked to the parents, they used the vehicle was 2107. It was an old car, and we decided that the parents would buy the car, but it would be registered on my name because I was younger. I never had any reasons to use the car uniquely for my own purposes. So my parents were using the car, and they bought the car for their own funds.
And did you eventually sell that car, and how much did you get for it?
Я поясню.
I will explain. In 2023, if I'm not mistaken, or later, there was a car accident. My parents had a car accident, and the front part and sides of the vehicles were damaged. There were a lot of damages, and we were going to repair the car, and there were a lot of details that had to be bought and replaced. So the maximum value of that car as of 2023 was approximately $4,500, and the value of repairs could be even higher. So we published an announcement. A person called and explained that he was a technician, and he wanted to buy that car at a low price to repair it and use it later. And the parents were fine with that suggested price because it was too expensive to repair the car, and they couldn't use that vehicle, so they sold it for 15,000 hryvnias at the time, if I remember correctly, and that was the value due to the damages. And that buyer then re-registered the car, and I do not know what were the later events.
And I'd like to talk to you about another car that you declared in your 2024 declaration that indicated from December of 2019, you owned a 2015 Volkswagen Golf with a value of 93,000 hryvnias. How did you determine that valuation, and how much did you acquire that vehicle for?
Дивіться, цей автомобіль був куплений на
Look,
акцію
that vehicle was bought at an auction in the US, and the purchase price was up to $2,000, but there were additional expenses for customs procedures, and the general value of the vehicle plus the customs service was approximately $2,000, and it took some time to repair the car, and I was using it later. I'm saying in the past time because currently I'm with the armed forces and I cannot use the car. It's just waiting at home.
And where did you get the funds to purchase the car and to repair it?
Ну, певний доход був, я працював.
There was certain income. I was working, my wife was working, so we bought the car.
And how much did you spend on repairs approximately?
Я не пам'ятаю точно.
I do not remember. Overall, it was probably $3,000-4,000, but it was happening throughout 1 year.
And in addition, around that same time in October of 2019, your wife purchased a 2014 Ford Fusion car, which you valued at $67,000. thousand hryvnias. Tell me about that car. When it was, how much it was paid, how much it was bought for, the condition of it, when you paid off repairs.
Дивіться, це така сама ситуація
Look, the
відбувалася на
situation
аукціоні.
was the same. The vehicle was bought at an auction, and this car was much cheaper. Its price,
Трохи більше $1000.
the auction was a little more than $1,000 plus customs procedures. And to repair that car, we spent approximately $2,000-3,000. We used it for some time. Then we decided to sell it because the hostilities started, and
Не були, не стояли.
for this car not to stay in the without use, we decided to sell it. And the funds were my wife's and partially mine. That's my answer.
You sold it.
And
Це недорогі автомобілі.
these are not expensive vehicles. We can look at different auction announcements. Ford Fusion, it's not an expensive vehicle, and the cost of a new one in the US is might be $5,000 if it's a new one. But if it's an old car, we can buy it for $1,000 as of 2019.
І це сукупна вартість, яку вказали.
And it's the general value indicated.
And the car was sold in June of 2025 for 410,000 hryvnias. Is that correct?
Так, продали. Там була продажа
Yes,
на фірму.
it was
Вони
sold,
кошти на картковий рахунок у гривні.
and the money was paid in cash in hryvnia. There were questions regarding the fact that the cost was higher. So there is the value and there is the price that the customers want to get, and they did not coincide. And it was sold for about $10,000 or more.
I'd like to skip to some services that you provided as an attorney in 2019. Did you provide legal services for Vitor Sistema LLC?
Ви знаєте, я не пам'ятаю такої ситуації.
I don't remember such a situation. I cannot tell you. There were two questions that I read from you, and it was about civil society control or something. Yes, indeed, I provided services there. If you're interested to hear about it, are you interested?
So I don't understand. Did you provide legal services for Vitor Sistema?
Я не пам'ятаю такої
I
організації.
don't remember such a LLC.
Okay, well, you saw the question, which indicated that in July 2019,
Я бачив
there was permission granted to conduct a covert investigation regarding a law enforcement officer demanding an unlawful benefit from the director of that company in the amount of $5,000, and that you had some participation in that. Can you explain about that?
Дивіться, я не брав певної ролі у цій справі.
Look, so I didn't play any role in that case. I was the defense attorney and I represented the client. And what law enforcement stated is untrue because they wrote it in a way Even though there are no notifications or no reasons, grounds to claim that I was a party to this dispute. They wanted to present it in that way in order to prepare a criminal case. And regarding any role of mine in that case, I didn't have any. Later on, I participated in that case as a defense attorney during pre-trial. And then, in part, I participated in it when the case was heard before court. And then in 2023, the client stopped our contract, and he said that he would do something on his own, and I no longer represented him in court.
According to the Unified State Register of Vehicles, you, as the owner of a Volkswagen Golf, were twice brought to administrative responsibility for traffic violations, once in 2024 and once in 2025. You did not disclose that in your questionnaire for the position of the hack judge. Can you indicate if those violations related to you and why you didn't disclose them?
I don't
really understand what do you mean by holding liable for an administrative offense?
For two different traffic violations, one in 2024 and one in 2025, involving a car you owned, a Volkswagen Golf. Are you familiar with those?
Well, look, I was not held liable for administrative responsibility for traffic violations. Some other cases that were known to me, I've indicated them all, and I don't understand what you are referring to, because I don't know of such cases. No enforcement proceedings or any protocols. I've got none of those.
When I sent you the questions, did you look at the offenses that were listed there?
I don't remember regarding the violations. Could you please remind me again, because I don't remember.
Related to parking violations.
Я вас розумів. Дивіться.
Okay, I got it. So regarding parking, I didn't have any protocols or notifications served to me personally or sent by mail. I will check it up. I will see how it was done, but I don't know of such cases.
Okay. Tell me why your parents visited the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine on a regular basis in 2018 to 2020.
Дивіться, у мого батька залишилося.
So my father back then had his mother staying there in the temporarily occupied territory of Ukraine, and his mother was very sick. She didn't want to move anywhere, and he tried to persuade her to move. And that was a really troublesome and a sad situation when an elderly person doesn't want to move and they stay where they are. And my father would go there from time to time to visit her, to see how she was going. And their trips could be related to that. They also lived with my sister, and they may have gone there to take their belongings that had stayed there. And when you have a car, it's so good because you can take more with you, but putting everything in one car is problematic. That is why they might have gone there to take some things and also to visit my father's mother.
Why did your parents visit Russia in December 2020 and December 2021?
Мені про це невідомо, я не можу вам
I don't know such facts. I cannot give you any information. The only thing, my mother, if I'm not mistaken, in 2024, she died, and my father lives with my sister. And why they went there, I need to ask him. But this is the first time I hear of this. I don't know why they went there. I cannot answer this question. I don't know such facts.
One last question. A person with a name identical to your wife is mentioned in a database as a person who is a member of the commission of the so-called polling station during the illegal elections held in 2018 in the so-called Donetsk People's Republic. Is that your wife?
Ні, це не моя дружина. Там раніше
No, this is not my wife. It was stated earlier that it was a teacher, and for some reason that website deleted that information, and only what you're saying stayed. And from 2014, my wife didn't visit the temporarily occupied territory, and she couldn't possibly take part in any so-called elections. She worked in the territory of Ukraine, she worked in Dnipro Oblast, and she also visited Kyiv. And going to the temporary occupied territory is impossible. It must be a different person. And why the website deleted the information and you couldn't find that it was another teacher? We saw it. We know for a fact this is a different person. And my wife wasn't a teacher. She is a doctor by trade.
The address provided was the same as your wife's address.
Це питання, беззаперечно, до цього сайту.
Well, this is something we need to check on the website. Someone changed that and addresses were different as of 2023. Addresses were different. What happened later, I don't know what happened. And who replaced that information with different information, I don't know.
Окупованої території і взагалі
So she didn't go there because the territory was occupied and because she was employed in the territory of Ukraine, governmentally controlled territory of Ukraine. So it's rather a question to the owner of the website because this is a non-reliable information. And I apologize. So before the onset of the full-scale invasion, we would go abroad and there were no problems. In 2020 and later, they went abroad and they had zero issues regarding this.
The website also mentioned your wife's previous last name, or Shkolna. I have nothing further at this time. Thank you.
Я розумію, але ж це питання.
I understand, but this is something we need to ask to the administrator of the website, the owner of the website, why they are stating that non-reliable information. This is not my wife. This is a coincidence. She didn't go there. She couldn't do it physically.
Thank you. Just looking at my colleagues. Mary, Norman on the screen. No. Back to you, Mr. Chair.
Дякую. Пане Ярославе.
Yaroslav, Alexander, greetings again, member of the Commission Duch. I would like to ask you a few questions regarding the fact that you submitted a few applications to participate in competitions. March last year, you wanted to participate in the competition for judge position at local court. Then you turned to this commission to participate in this competition, and then you were also running in a competition for a judge's position in specialized appellate court. Your motivation letter and successful cases from your practice are all identical in all your motivational letters. Which judge's position is your priority? At which position do you see yourself most, and where is your experience most relevant? Look, so I like the position of the judge's position, the position of the judge at the Hague Court more than all the others. And because that competition was delayed, I applied to other competitions, first to the local court, then to the specialized appellate court. I checked the criteria and I realized that I seemed to be eligible in all those competitions, including the competition to the Hague judge. But I would like to choose the specialized court. Have you ever represented clients in corruption-related cases? Have you had such clients? I have had a couple of clients like this, but it was elsewhere, not in the Hague. It was a pre-trial stage, and also similar cases in courts of first instances. But in your motivational letters, you're not citing such examples. You are citing general proceedings. Yes, I am. I'm citing the cases where I participated. Okay, clear. Next question. I will ask it quite broadly for you to understand the context. In the register of power of attorneys, that is not power of attorneys, but instructions. And there are 74 instructions there in your name. 200 decisions from 2019 in the Unified State Register of Court Decisions cite your name as an attorney. And throughout your attorney activities, you declared your income in 2019 appropriately and in 2023. And then in your declaration of a person authorized to perform the functions of the state, you state your income, but this tax service did not confirm that amount. So the number of clients of yours that I can see in the public sources, how does that correlate with your income? For 4 years, you haven't declared any income from your activities. Why so? Can I answer yet? Yes, sure. So I can answer in the following way. From 2019, I started cooperating with pro bono legal consultations. And this is not clients that I'm looking myself. And as I started doing this, I also started my own law firm. And For sure, I pay the taxes for the instructions that you are referring to. Until that moment, I cooperated with a law firm that could give me some assignments, and they paid me salary. That is was a more that was a work that looked like more that of a self-employed attorney. And as a private individual, I didn't get the income directly. The income was received by the law firm that paid the taxes. And for my attorney expenses, I would use the money under the current law. Is my understanding correct that you paid the taxes from income through attorney association, and then the salary you didn't have salary as a private individual? Yes, this is correct. This is allowed under the attorney's code of conduct. So I worked without a salary if I work without hired employees. And why I'm saying this? In order to avoid double taxing for myself. Like, yeah, you can see it in the attorney's code of conduct.
Do I understand correctly that that's the reason why the NACP, while checking your declaration for 2024, did not confirm that you received income in the amount of 697,000 hryvnias? Yes. I declared that an income in the section that is about the law firm. Okay, understood. Tell me, please, in the registered data, we see the address at Gagarina Street. I will not specify the address, where your attorney law firm is engaged in economic activities. That's the address that's used as your office. Well, that's not really so. I declared that as my legal address, and I got my mailing there. I tried to find a small office there, but no one was leasing that out. And I have friends there who allowed me to declare the address and to get my mailing there. But as I've mentioned, I did not use the office as such because I did not have a need to do that, as my activities were related to the presence in the court hearings, in pre-trial investigation bodies, and some penitentiary institutions. So that's why I did not have just time to sit in the office. Are there any legal transactions that allow you to use that office? No, I did not conclude any agreements like that, and the current legislation does not envision that it's necessary to conclude an agreement on the rent of the office. It's just necessary to declare where I'm getting my correspondence. The tax office had all the information on how to find me and my mailing address and email and phone numbers, and we communicated. And even I had a dispute with them regarding the collection of taxes penalties that I won, because again, they provided inaccurate information. They shared some payments individually for some reason, and they in the inspection act that was conducted, that was the check without field trips, so they provided inaccurate information, and that was confirmed in the court because they could not provide anything else. And my last group of questions is about the following. Tell me, please, do you recall, has the report been prepared with respect to you in connection with a traffic accident? Can you please remind me? If I'm not mistaken, that's September of 2018. Yes, probably yes. It happened. I can tell you about the situation. Yes, please. Look, yes, indeed, the report was prepared. That was Gagarina Street. There was a woman driving. She was driving first. There were no cars or anything else. For some reason, at the cross the intersection, she decided to brake quickly. I also put on brakes, but my bumper touched her car. So there were no damages of the vehicles as such. Her bumper was damaged a bit. She left the vehicle and she said, "Here, I have a damages. Pay me money." The previous man paid me. I said I was not going to pay anything. Let's prepare the report. This report was prepared. It was sent to court. She never appeared in court. She hired an attorney who was also postponing the case consideration. I provided explanation to the judge as how did this happen. Then, due to unknown reasons, she called me. She said sorry. She said that I don't want anything. Let's finish all of that so that I would not be bothered. I don't know why it happened like that. After that, the case was considered by the court, and the respective decision was taken by the court. Tell me, please, how many motions were submitted by you during the consideration of this case on postponement of the case consideration? Oh, I don't remember that, but I don't remember. Maybe one, but I don't remember that specifically. According to information, the case was postponed 7 times and at least 4 times upon your initiative. You didn't have time to take part in the consideration of this case? Maybe there were some other hearings appointed on the criminal cases, but I was appearing later and I was present in the court. And the other party did not appear in the court. The court managed to consider that case in more than a year. And my last probably question to you is that with respect to you, the court is saying that you did not admit your guilt because you believe that the Fiat Punto vehicle caused the traffic accident and they didn't have reasons to brake. But did you keep the safe distance while moving behind that vehicle? I tried to move at a safe distance, and I drove, and my bumper only slightly touched her car, so there was no hit as such. So I don't know, just a couple of centimeters were lacking for me to stop before her car. And when you are having the emergency brake due to unknown reasons, I don't know. And I still believe that there was no reason for her to stop abruptly. There were no passengers, nothing, no cars, no pedestrians, there were no obstacles. Why did she decide to do that? I don't know that. I have some sort of my personal opinion that she left the car and she said, "Pay me money." Probably that was done for that purpose, but that's my personal opinion only. Mr. Alexander, do I understand it correctly that the car stopped before the crossing? No, there was no crossing. There is a road divided by a line on which there is grass and some trees. And at that stage, there is a turn. And she stopped close to this turnaround point. Okay, understood. Mr. Chair, I don't have any questions. There was no pedestrian crossing. She stopped far behind the crossing that can be considered as the pedestrian crossing. There was no sign, and why there? I don't know why. And I've explained to the rest. Okay, understood. Thank you. Colleagues, I don't have any more questions. Okay, please, yes. Mr. Alexander, good morning. Serhiy Chumak, I have a couple of questions to you. Tell me, please. In response to the question of a previous previous questions about the failure to declare income in 2015, 2017, and then 2020, 2021, you said that in 2020, 2021, you worked in a law firm or somewhere else, legal consulting, but they did not reflect your income in the tax reporting. And accordingly, as far as I understand, they did not pay any taxes for you from your salary. Or what? No, not really like that. I have a record in the employment record book. There is a bank. If I'm not mistaken, FIDA Bank. That's FIDA Bank. Yes, FIDA Bank. And yes, I worked there. If I'm not mistaken, that was either 2018. I don't remember specifically, honestly. I just do not have documents on hand. Yes, you were talking about legal consulting, not FIDA Bank. Yes, and legal consulting, there is also the date when I stopped working there. And that date is before the legal consulting. If I'm not mistaken, that was impossible either in 2019 or 2000 later. I stopped working with them previously. If I'm not mistaken, that was either 2018 or even before that. I don't remember. Tell me, please. Mr. Alexander, I have a huge request. Please answer clearly and concisely. What is legal consulting? And what was its relation to FIDA Bank? 1-2 sentences. Legal consulting is a separate firm, and FIDA Bank is a separate bank. Understood. Thank you. Because you are combining everything. According to your employment record book, the most recent is dismissal from FIDA Bank. There were no records about legal consulting at all. You are saying information that is not accurate, firstly. Secondly, in your application, legal consulting is not mentioned at all. That's also inaccurate information. Let's talk with the language of documents. You are saying something that's not accurate. Legal consulting is specified in my employment record book. It's before FIDA Bank. Previously, before FIDA Bank. But you said 2020, 2021. No, probably I made a mistake. There was a question. Mr. Alexander, I'm asking you, just do not talk that much. Let's talk through documents. Before FIDA Bank, you had a law firm, Justitia, from 2003 to 2017. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. And then after Justitia was FIDA Bank. Correct? Yes. Well, there was no legal consultant. You did not work there officially. You did not have income from there. So, which salary were you talking about? That's not clear. Because officially you did not work there. Look, if I'm not mistaken, legal consulting was then 2001 or 2002, and there is a record. You were not asked about 2001. You did not have income. Please, listen to the question, Mr. Alexander. You did not have income declared from 2015 to 2017 and from 2020 to 2021. We are talking about these periods only. Why are you talking about legal consulting of 2001? That has no relation to those questions. Thank you. Clarified. I just did not want to go back to 2001. Look, now I have questions about, again, 2015 to 2017 and 2020 to 2021. You said you do not have the official declared income. Yes. You did not work? I worked for a law firm. Starting from 2019, from 2015 to 2017, there was relocation to a new territory, and I tried to find a job where I could work. So during that period of time, that was not the best time for me. Mr. Alexander, a very simple question. From 2015 to 2017, you did not work? Why don't you have income then? No, I was not working. That's why I don't have income. Okay, but among those cases that you provided to confirm your legal activities, you provided cases in particular dated 2017, when you do not have income officially. So you provided these court decisions on your own, and you've attached them to your application to confirm your practice as the attorney. All of these decisions are in front of us. In particular, February 2017, Zavhorodniy District Court of Mariupol, you were the defense attorney of the person charged under Article 157. He had 3 attorneys. One of those attorneys were you, and you've provided that document to confirm that. That's the evidence that you were working back then, but now you just lied to us that you were not working. You were working, and you've just confirmed that through this court decision, one of the court decisions that you provided. How can you comment on that? I can't comment on that. These were friends, and they asked to help during the pre-trial investigation with respect to the selection of an interim measure. That was not an interim measure, if I'm not mistaken, but rather arrest of property. The motion on the cancellation of that arrest of property was submitted, and we went to Mariupol to revoke that. But I did not take money from my friends in order to declare that I was in my income. So you just said you were not working at all. Okay, Mr. Alexander, next decision dated 2017, and we did not even check the register. Another decision dated 2017. You took part. Also, you've provided the decision on your own. That's the decision regarding Dnipropetrovsk region. That's Babushkinsky District Court of Dnipropetrovsk, dated July 2017, 173 Prim 2, domestic violence, as far as I understand, if I remember correctly. And then you've provided the ruling of the Court of Appeal dated November 9 of 2017 again. So you are providing us with court decisions mentioning you as the defense attorney. Can you please tell the surname of the person that's mentioned there? Based on what you provided here, that's person 1. There is probably also the instruction that I provided. Maybe, yes, maybe. But you are providing these documents, that court decision, under this case, as the one that's confirming your practice as an attorney. That's already Dnipropetrovsk region, that's Babushkinsky District Court of Dnipro, and the Court of Appeal of Dnipropetrovsk region. You've provided these decisions. I can comment on that. Zhanesko, that's the judge of the first instance, and the presiding judge in the Court of Appeal was Piskun. I know that was based on the instruction issued by the pre-legal aid center, and that instruction was issued late. And I've provided that instruction, and I've attached it to these documents. The case itself was long ago, but if I'm not mistaken, I was submitting that based on the ruling of the court decision. I can only tell you that you've provided not the instruction on free legal aid, but you provided the agreement concluded between you as the attorney and your client. Maybe I don't remember, honestly. And the agreement dated July 7 of 2017. That's for the first instance court, because the decision of the court of first instance was taken 17 days after you concluded the agreement. So you represented the person both in the first instance and in the Court of Appeal, and not based on free legal aid system, but you've provided the agreement on legal aid concluded with your client. I can provide the same examples of 2020 and 2021, where you took part in the cases, but you didn't have income. Well, there was income from the law firm, and I'm saying that I've cooperated with a law firm. I provided this explanation. So you were working during those years, but you do not have income for some reason. Thank you. That's it from my side. Thank you. Colleagues, do you have any other questions? No? Okay. Dear PCIe members, maybe you have some additional questions.
Well, thank you.
Okay, then. Mr. Alexander, now you have an opportunity to address the HQCJ and PCAE members. Maybe you would like to add something. You have up to 1 minute. Please be concise. Yes, no, only I would like to thank you for this format that you've allowed me to provide my explanation, and that's it from my side. Thank you. Okay, thank you for your participation in this interview. Now I'm announcing interview over, and I'm announcing